You ever get that feeling looking at your team and you just wonder, are they really here? Or are they just kind of going through the motions? Well, today we're going to talk about a concept that's designed to completely change that dynamic. It's called fierce leadership, and it's all about building something way more powerful than just satisfaction. We're talking about true, deep, mission-driven engagement. So, let's just kick things off with a really important question for you to think about. Look at your team. Are they just satisfied? Happy enough to show up, do the work, get paid? Or are they truly, deeply engaged? Because let me tell you, the difference between those two things, that's where all the magic happens. That's where excellence lives. For the longest time, the big buzzword was job satisfaction. The whole idea was, hey, if we just keep everyone happy, they'll naturally do great work. Simple, right? But we've learned that's not really the whole picture, not even close. See, satisfaction, it's kind of passive. It's about being comfortable. And what we're really after here is something with a lot more fire, something way more powerful. And that's what we're calling true engagement. And listen, this goes so far beyond just liking your daily to-do list. We're talking about a genuine emotional and intellectual connection to the organization's mission, the big picture. It's what turns a job into, well, a cause. Okay, so that sounds great, right? But how do you actually build that kind of connection? Well, it really boils down to one single critical thing, the mission. The mission is the why. It's the whole reason you're doing what you're doing, and it gives real meaning to all the little whats that fill up our day. And when that mission is crystal clear and people get it, man, something just clicks. The work itself totally transforms. People stop seeing a boring checklist of tasks, and instead they start seeing how their piece fits into this huge, important puzzle. They go from just working to truly contributing. And this is exactly where the idea of fierce leadership comes into play. It's not just some fuzzy theory, it's the actual practical game plan for building this kind of mission-driven team. I'd say think of it less like a leadership style and more like a disciplined practice for creating a culture where people are all in. And when you put it side by side with more traditional leadership, the difference is just, wow, it's night and day. See, traditional leadership is often about keeping things comfortable, avoiding difficult conversations. But fierce leadership, it just flips that whole script. It is laser focused on the mission. It pushes for growth, even when it's hard, and it actually welcomes the kind of honest feedback that's absolutely necessary to be great. I absolutely love this quote because it just nails the core concept. It's all about blending compassion with fierceness. This is so important. It's not about choosing, am I going to be the nice boss or the tough boss? No. It's about taking those two things and weaving them together to create something totally new and way more effective. All right, so let's break that down. Compassion and fierceness. How on earth do you blend those two? I mean, they sound like total opposites, right? A paradox. But honestly, getting this right, that's the secret sauce. That's the whole key to this entire approach. Okay, first up, compassion. This is the bedrock. This is everything. It's about seeing the people on your team as, well, people, not just resources, not just cogs in a machine. It's about truly listening to them, trying to understand where they're coming from, and making it safe for them to speak up, to take a chance, to maybe even fail sometimes. That's psychological safety. And then you've got the other side of the coin, the fierceness. And let's be super clear here. This is not about being a jerk. It's not about yelling or being aggressive. This is a fierceness for the mission. It's about having ridiculously high standards and never compromising on them. It's about making sure every decision, big or small, connects back to that mission. And maybe most importantly, it's about having the guts to give feedback that is super clear, super honest, and super direct. Because that's how people get better. So here it is, the main point you have to get. You have to throw out that old idea that you have to choose between being nice and being tough. It's a false choice. Think about it. The compassion is what allows that fierce feedback to actually land and be heard. And the fierceness, that's what gives all that compassion a point, a direction. One without the other just doesn't work. They have to exist together. So what happens when you actually pull this off? When you get that blend of compassion and fierceness just right, what does that workplace even feel like? Well, the result is a place that is just buzzing with energy. It really comes down to three huge outcomes. First, your people are energized. Why? Because they're connected to a mission they believe in. It's not just a job anymore. Second, they feel incredibly valued.
That compassion piece means they know they're seen as individuals, not just numbers. And finally, they are genuinely inspired. They're inspired to bring their A game every single day because those high standards and that direct feedback are constantly pushing them to do better.
So, I want to leave you with one final thought, a question to really mull over. As you think about your own leadership, which side of this coin do you need to lean into a little more right now? Do you need to dial up the compassion to build more trust? Or do you need to dial up the fierceness to really drive that mission forward? Because finding that perfect balance, well, that's not just the secret to being a better leader, it's the secret to building a team that is truly unstoppable.